Hi, Natalie here from Creative Junket. I shared a video earlier showing this collection, the Colour Me Happy by Simple Stories, and I want to make a layout using this paper and I don't know what else. This paper, this word, either the word from the ephemera or from the words I should say, or from the sticker sheet, the puffy sticker sheet. It's called foam sticker sheet, Okie Dokie. I think it's just so cute. And these three little word strips, and I don't know what else I'm going to use, and I don't know why, but these just appeal to me. So that's what I'm going to start with. I know I'm going to spend a bit of time fussy cutting and thinking about what's next. I do like how this has that little scallop at the bottom as well, so that's why maybe I feel like it would be perfect. Yeah, so I don't know. Am I going to cut out everything? Probably, because I like to fussy cut. Am I just going to do just pink? Don't know. That's kind of where I'm leaning. I'm also leaning with maybe doing pink and orange, or maybe doing pink and green, or pink and black. That'd be pretty cool. Or maybe just the whole lot. Don't know. It's such a bright, awesome collection, and like these stickers are all the colours, right? So it would almost make sense to just use everything. But first up, I will fussy cut everything out and then see where I go from there. So I'm going to put you on fast forward, probably cut out a whole bunch so you don't have to watch me fussy cut the whole lot. And then I will decide what I'm doing after that. I'm going to fussy cut out this pink one to start with. I at first think that I'm going to have a little white border around the outside of the scallop. You can see here me showing you that. But it turns out that I don't really like it. In a minute I'll switch to cutting directly along the pink. Here I am, changing to just along the pink. I would keep it on the white border, but I'm not going to be doing any distressing, and it just was too uneven for my liking, so that's why I switched to just doing along the pink. And I'll fix up this bit here. That's where I originally cut with a little white border. Obviously have to get rid of that so that the whole thing is just pink, no white at all. So here's my finished little fussy cut, one of many. I ended up cutting the whole page, pretty much the whole page. Right, so I've cut out all my bits. I have also pulled out some of the ephemera from the pack that I want to use. So I've got some pinks, some oranges, this teeny tiny amount of yellow, so I hope I can find some more yellow mustard stuff. Green, the teal, and some black. No purple, so it's not quite rainbow, but almost. And while I was cutting, I thought I really want to do an inky background, make it a bit messy. I thought maybe I could do distress oxides on a black background. I think that'd look really cool, but I just didn't have the right colours. I don't have the full set of distress oxides yet. I do have the full set of distress inks, so I thought, oh well, let's just go with that. And I've picked raspberry, spiced marmalade, mustard seed, twisted citron, and evergreen bough. This is what they look like. Swatched out, so I think they're a pretty good match. I'm not entirely sure about the yellow. Oh, it's pretty good. It's just kind of a mustardy colour, I guess. And I did have a fuller amount of colour at one point, but it's just too much yellow and not enough of the pink coming through and not enough blue coming through. I had like a lot of greeny, yellowy, orangey colours for some reason. I think I pulled out a colour for every single yellow and green. But I'm pretty happy with this, and I mean that's a rainbow. So right, the next thing is to actually make a background, and I did do this one. This is the one that I didn't like because there's too much yellow, so I'm going to do something similar to this with a bit of watercolouring across it and then some splatters on it as well. And I'll put you on fast forward while I do it. I am going to gesso the background as well, just to make it so I can use as much water as I really feel like. Alright, on to fast forward now. So I've gessoed my cardstock, did a pretty thorough coating, and now I'm ready to do some inking. Just going to blob down my colours along my craft mat here, spritz my paper and spritz the colours, and then all I'm really doing is painting a stripe across the page, doing some blobs, some splatters, then grabbing the next colour, doing the same kind of thing, doing some splatters, next colour, same deal. So this is all I'm going to do. It's not hard at all, and I think if you wanted to have a go at this and you're not very familiar with mixed media, it's probably a good starting point. You're not really going to get messy fingers, you're not going to find it too complicated because it's literally just painting stripes. And because I wet the background, it meant that the ink would move around with the water, especially because I've also gessoed. So gesso plus a wet background with ink on top means the ink will move around your page a bit more than if you put it down on a dry piece of paper. Even with the gesso, if you put it down on dry cardstock, it's not going to move around as much. Just going to dry it off a little bit, and then I am going to add some more layers to it, just so I get that real watercolory layered look to it. And I think in my next lot, I'm also going to do a bit more splattering across the colours. You can see I'm just dabbing up bits where it's just a little bit too much water on there. And here I am just splattering a bit more. You can see I'm going across the colours a bit more, just to add a bit more depth to the page. And in a second I'll literally dry this off, and that's it. That will be about it. Oh, here I'm just adding a bit more colour. I didn't think there's enough depth to that yellow, and I have a feeling I'll do that with the green too. Maybe not. So I'm just going to dry it off again. You can see how fast was that? Super fast. And you might look at it and go, what on earth are you going to do with this? And in the end it actually looks pretty cool. So sometimes your background might look, as people say, like a hot mess, but once you layer on top of it, you don't really see the whole thing. So you can make a real mess and it's still going to look fabulous. Just drying the back a bit too, just to make sure that it is completely dry, clearing off my craft mat, and that's it. That's done. Pretty fast, huh? Now my next task is to layer up my scallops. I have many to add on, and you'll see that I'm pretty just slap happy. I'm just going to plonk them down on my page and not think too much about it. And this is not my usual style, but I haven't scrapbooked in ages, so yeah, I thought I've just got to do it, otherwise I'm going to sit here and muck around forever and a day trying to decide where to place things. I think that I was going to plan on starting in the middle and working towards the edges, which would make more sense because you can kind of space things out a little bit. But in the end it actually turns out quite well. So you'll see I've got some greens, I've got some pinks, I've got some oranges, and I've got like one bit of yellow, one or two bits. I think it's only one bit of yellow. And I'm thinking to myself, well, this is really going to be a bit short on yellow, but I'm going ahead with it anyway. Just watch. I come up with a plan. I'm sticking them down. I also thought about stitching along the scallops, but I'm not going to do that either. It would look quite cool, I think. Stitching in black would be pretty cool. Even stitching in white would be nice, but black would have been cool because there's a lot of black accents in this collection. I also thought about the idea of maybe framing it in black, but I decided against that as well. But that would also look quite cool. And you can see I'm not really worrying about it at all. And I'm pretty sure I didn't even really pay a lot of attention to whether these were going on straight or not. And I didn't care. It's great. On they go. The ones down the bottom, the blue ones, I did actually stick together a couple before I started, just to see what it would look like, and I quite liked that look. I just carried on doing that. And you'll notice it sort of is quite heavy blue at the bottom. And I think this is quite good because it's going to have kind of like a ledge for my photo to sit on. Now this is just my scrap, but I'm thinking I know what I can do. If I have my photo on this side, I can have my little bit of yellow, my green. I don't have a lot of greens either, so I can push those over to the left hand side, and my yellow, and then it's not really going to look like I don't have a lot of yellow because I'm going to have my photo there, you see. And then I'm going to just bulk up the top as well. So I have quite heavy pink and I have quite heavy tealy blue, and that kind of frames where my photo is going to go. And I like that. I think that's going to look really good. Possibly you still think it looks a bit of a hot mess, but I'm starting to like it now. Now I'm just having a look at the cut aparts, thinking what would I like to have for my little journaling spot. Thinking about maybe a tag, but I find this a little bit down the bottom here, this little clipboard, and I like this. And the reason it caught my eye is because of the black, and I thought that would look quite good, but I end up cutting the black off, so that's quite funny. Also has the little pink scallop as well, and I thought that would be quite nice. to frame it as well. And here I am, I'm just going to cut a bit of black. I was going to use a bit of colour vibe, but I didn't feel like it was quite dark enough. So I grabbed a bit of black from my stash and just cut down a piece of 6x4. There you are. I'm just thinking about, do I want to frame it? And I decide, nope, not in black. Oh, I do. What am I saying? I do frame it in black. How funny. I didn't even measure. That's quite funny. I know I didn't check I didn't cut off at any particular size on any of the edges. Just hoped it would work. And so here I am, I'm going to stick this down, and it does work. I don't even know if it even is crooked or uneven. I'm happy with it though. There we go, that's done. No mucking around this bit. This is probably one of the fastest layouts I've ever done. And I know I want to use Okie Dokie. Here I am, I'm just going to fussy cut that little clipboard out. Since I've got the heavy black photo mat, I don't really want to have the heavy black on the little journaling spot either. It's got like that black accent on it anyway. Oh, now I'm grabbing some foam stickers, some of the little scallops to start with, and some of the cardstock sticker scallops as well. And my eye is drawn in a second to the scallop on the side there, the colourful one with black. Oh no, I better not talk about that yet. Obviously I'm not up to that. Thinking about the Okie Dokie, grabbing some more stickers, and thinking about using those little word stickers I like, word cutouts I like, but I just don't really like the white with it. So I'm going to just really go tone on tone. I mean, there is a little bit of white with the cherry and some of the other bits and pieces I add on, but not a huge amount like those little words. Got a little orange, a bit of lemon, buttons. It's not lemon, it's a button. Just popping down little bits and not really worrying too much about what they are. And here, I think that strip would be cool. So I'm going to cut that down to size and pop it on the page. I think that looks really cool. Just kind of adds an edge to the side of the photo mat. And I do end up taking, there's a little bit of orange poking out the right hand side there. I do end up just pulling that off at some point. Just going to add some more word stickers. And having a look to see, do I want to add on some other bits and pieces? I thought about maybe some of those tabs, but I don't really think it needs it, to be honest. And here's my Okie Dokie. I've decided to go with the foam stickers for this, because I think they just stand out a little bit more than the little die cut. Adding in some more little bits, little hearts. And I think I'm just going to pop some, thinking about some more extra bits. But in a second I'm going to pop some foam adhesive on the back of the black cardstock. I'm just grabbing some white cardstock at the moment to put where my photo would go. In fact, I have a feeling my photo mat is 6 1/4 by 4 1/4, just so that I could have a 6x4 photo. Taking a while to find a bit of card. I'm just going to pop this on. I haven't decided on a photo yet, so I'm just putting a bit of white cardstock to fill the spot for now. I'm just going to pop that on with my glue, and now I think I'm going to get my foam dots and put them on the back of my black cardstock so that it is raised up. And part of the reason for that is because of all the layers underneath, but I also really like having my photo lifted off the page a bit more than the other elements, just to make sure it pops. And make sure I put that on an angle on purpose, in case you're wondering. I quite liked how it sort of, I don't know, it's a bit more haphazard that way, not quite so perfect. And also thought about my Okie Dokie, and I really like having them lined up with so the Dokie's lined up with the photo, and the Okie is kind of lined up with the little journaling spot. You can see I'm fussing around trying to figure out how to get that in there. Oh no, I don't know what I'm just fussing around thinking about putting my little hearts up on foam dots too, but I don't like that at all. They look ridiculous, so they just get glued down. I did think at the beginning I was going to add a whole bunch of little black hearts on the page, just popped in, but I don't think it needed it, so I've gone without. So here's my finished layout. I honestly didn't know what I was going to think of it. When I was halfway through, I thought it's just going to look like a shambles, and maybe it does look a bit like that, but it was a lot of fun, and I actually really love how it's turned out. I love how it's just kind of a messy background with nothing making any sense at all, and I love that. It's just really good to be able to just create something, not think too much about sticking stuff down. You probably saw me, I was just sticking stuff down, not worrying about where it was, not worrying about the placement, and having fun doing it. I think sometimes in this world we just need to have fun and not worry too much about the end result, because, you know, having fun is more important than perfection. And, you know, I just really want you to go out and have an okie dokie time scrapbooking. Thank you so much for watching.